Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Jack Tury of Fraser Baseball. How's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Casey?
Doing good. So just how is this season going so far for you? For you guys?
I think it's going really well, got a couple of tough opponents in already, had some good games, and I think we've been playing well as of late. So
Okay, so remind everyone what position you play.
I am a pitcher and a shortstop.
Okay. So what's it like being a shortstop and all that fun stuff?
It's definitely it can be stressful at times, but it's definitely one of those fun positions, like you're kind of involved with everything. So I definitely think it definitely keeps you busy on the field. You're always moving, constantly talking to your teammates, communicating. So I definitely think it's one of those positions where you're always constantly engaged and moving. So I like that about it.
Yeah. Um, So going into that, how do you feel like you've kind of done in that area, being an infielder and all that fun stuff?
I think I've done a pretty good job so far, think I've gotten a lot better from last year. You just constantly improving, and I think that I've done a pretty good job so far.
Hmm. Okay, so going into this year, what were your goals heading into the 2024 season?
Like individually or team.
Individually first, and then obviously team goals.
All right, so individually, I'd say a lot of different things, mainly like, I think one of the biggest things for me is constantly throwing strikes as a pitcher and getting and improving on that aspect of my game and kind of just being able to pound the strike zone and, going deeper and deeper into games and being able to be that guy that you can count on to get you deep into games. And then for hitting and fielding, just go into the season with a good approach and kind of like, hey, like, batting average, it is what it is. Doesn't always represent how well you're hitting. So my goal was just kind of, being able to drive baseballs and have good approaches at the plate.
Yeah. Um, so pitching wise, how are you doing in that and what's it like being on the mound?
Well, had a rough first game to say it, but I've definitely gotten it back to, and I've been pitching a lot better as of recently. And being on the mound, I think it's the best thing in baseball. You're in control of the game. You dictate the pace and everything, and it's just one of the best feelings being on the mound, in my opinion.
Okay. Um, just a reminder, what position did you get recruited for?
Pitcher.
Okay. All right. Your best pitch and then your worst one.
My best pitch, I would say, is my slider, and my worst pitch as of right now, I would say probably my cutter.
Yeah. Is there any like new things that you've learned this year?
One of the biggest things for me going into this year, especially for pitching, was I was more of like a two-pitched mix guy going like last year, like mainly fastball slider, and I really worked this off season on developing like a true curveball and a changeup, and being able to throw those in games is something that's been very helpful to me going into this year.
Yeah. Being a part of, this team and this, what is kind of like, you know, playing against some really good teams in the MAC conference. What's that like for you guys?
I think it's definitely a good thing for us. I think we take it as a challenge. We want to beat those really good top tier teams in the MAC, like to say like we're here and get us ready for districts. We got a really tough district this year, so I think trying to play and compete with those teams is definitely helpful for later in the season.
Okay. Um, so you're kind of heading into this year, you know, college wise. Of course, your baseball career is not quite over
hmm
just yet. Where of course you're heading to Jackson College to continue your baseball career. What's that like? Why Jackson College?
I went on a visit there a few weeks ago, and I really loved it there. I loved the facilities and everything. The campus was beautiful, and I really liked the coaches and everything that they were about, and like their philosophies and everything. So I had some time. I thought it over, and I thought that was the place for me to go.
Yeah. Um, what kind of, what just was a big thing that sold you there? Because it's multiple things, but there's always just like that one thing.
I think, being at a 2-year college is a nice thing. One of the nice things about it, having options after those 2 years are up. But I just think honestly, how the coaches approached like their game plans, like they're going to play kids, everyone's going to get an equal opportunity. They're not carrying a bunch of kids. It's kind of like everyone's getting a fair shot and everything. I think that was one of the biggest things for me going in is being able to compete and try to play as a freshman.
Yeah. Yeah. Being a part of Fraser, the Fraser community and all that stuff, of course, you know, of course, being on the baseball team, of course, you played football as well.
Mhm.
What has it meant to you to be a part of, playing different sports at Fraser and all that?
I loved it. I've loved every sport that I played there. I think it's great. We have a really tight-knit community, and I think that everyone just kind of supports each other in the different sports that they do. So I think that's one thing that's really awesome about playing for Frasers. Everyone's super supportive of one another when playing different sports.
I know you're a senior. How much are you just trying to soak in these last few weeks? I don't know when you get out, but
Yeah.
what's what are you counting down the days or are you trying to soak it all in? What are you doing?
I'm just kind of trying to soak everything in, like it's getting really close to being done and it's kind of like a bittersweet moment. I'm definitely gonna miss it and everything, but I'm also excited to take the next step in my life. So it's definitely bittersweet, but I'm definitely think I'm gonna miss high school once it's over.
For sure. Goals for the rest of the season. What are we what do you got coming up? Because there's only a few more weeks of the regular season, and we're gonna be at districts
Yeah.
by this time next month.
Yeah, I think the biggest goal for us so far right now is looking forward to we put ourselves in a great spot to win our division. I think that's the number one goal at the moment is just be able to we got a couple tough opponents in the next few weeks that'll really help decide the conference for us. And I also think another goal of ours is to win districts, like just keep being able to play baseball later in the year.
All right. Jack, let's get to know you a little bit. How about that?
All right.
Okay, favorite player growing up.
Favorite player? Ooh, I'd say Miggy.
Okay. Um, okay, must ask this. Gum or sunflower seeds?
Sunflower seeds for sure.
Okay. Any particular flavor, any particular brand?
I'd say Big's Taco Bell seeds are probably my favorite right now.
Taco Bells. They make a Taco Bell seeds?
Yes, they're awesome.
Okay, what's your go-to place for food? Is that Taco Bell as well?
Not, I'd say I'm a big McDonald's guy. Love some McDonald's after the games.
Okay. Any meal of choice?
Uh, Usually just a two cheeseburger meal with a Dr. Pepper, I say is usually my go-to.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, I'll just burn it all off anyway.
Yeah, it's a nice thing.
Favorite movie?
Favorite movie? Ooh, growing up, I would definitely say Sandlot.
Okay. Um, let's see. Um, have you played every position in baseball?
I don't, I usually play, I have played every position in the infield. I caught one inning in my lifetime, so I mean, I'll count that. I caught one on JV, one inning. But I've not played right field. I think is the only position I haven't played.
Okay. Um, let's see. And let's see. And finally, what is an interesting fact people do not know about you, Jack?
Ooh, let's. I used to play basketball. I'd say a lot of people didn't know about that.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, Jack, thanks so much for the time as always, and
Yep.
we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you for having me.